Hello and welcome to today's Chaos TV very special edition, as today we're celebrating and focusing on the Multiply project. Lots to come on today's broadcast, got some fabulous guests, including a little quiz as well to liven up your maths and what you may think of maths anyway. I'm going to tell you a little about the Multiply project. It's a project aiming to help adults improve their numeracy skills. If you're aged 19 or over and don't have a maths GCSE at grade C, you are eligible for the Multiply programme. Multiply is a new government-funded programme to help adults improve their numeracy skills. Numeracy is, of course, the ability to understand and use math in daily life, home and work. Whether that be building confidence with numbers, improving household finances, helping children with homework, making more sense of the stats and facts in the media, or improving numeracy skills specific to your line of work. Good numeracy skills may unlock job opportunities and lead to higher wages, or prepare you to further study. More importantly, good numeracy also helps in everyday life with more than a lot of people realise. Part of the Multiply programme is to break down some of the myths around maths and numeracy skills, to provide an open and honest discussion about maths, and how to move forward with your learning. People who improve their numeracy skills are more likely to be employed, have higher wages and better well-being, and will be able to progress to higher levels of training to secure a more skilled job in our economy. This is why the Multiply programme has recently launched. Now, did you know over a third of adults, 35% of adults, say that doing maths makes them feel anxious, while 1 in 5 are so fearful it even makes them physically sick. Can you believe that? That's what we're here to deal with today. We're going to break down some of these barriers. We're going to talk about maths on a very human level. And you can imagine there are some thoughts and feelings when it comes to math that I think many of us share. So today, like I say, we're going to break down some of those myths. Over the past few weeks, we've spoken to some of the Chaos team here, as well as members of the public, to find out their thoughts and feelings when it comes to maths.
Hi, I'm Kathy Davis, and I work as a professional artist here in Nampian, a little village in Cornwall. So growing up, when I went to school, and I suffer from dyslexia, so very, very challenging indeed. So not such a great experience with maths, as it was quite militant and boring, I found it. Hence why I had the love for art since about 4 years old. So I kind of was steered away from maths myself because it didn't appeal to me. But now, obviously, I look at different ways of teaching, knowing that different ways of teaching can be improved. Do you know what? In a fun way, I would want to know in a fun way. I would want a teacher that captured my imagination, was very engaging with the kids, and captured my excitement with maths, like with art, and just take me on that journey down instead of sitting there and it's all very daunting, especially for me as a dyslexic kid growing up, is what I found very distracting and off-putting is when all these equations and numbers were put in front of me. It frightened me straight away, but to break it down in small sections to learn at a different pace probably than the other kids would have been a lot more appealing for someone like me with a learning disability. Well, as a business owner with maths, obviously with accountancy, obviously I have an accountant, but to process numbers as well and to teach the children about working with different grades of pencils and, it's all maths, it's all numbers. But also, I suppose with maths as well, it's calculating in my own head, but taking my time to process those, those calculations of knowing that I've got this so much to spend on my art supplies each month. You just got to slow it down, and as my mum used to say, you've got to keep things simple. Take your time with maths. Take your time to go through everything, and people process things differently in different ways. So give yourself time to process, like I do with art and how I teach my little artist here in the art school, is that take your time. Like art is a process, and like maths is a process, and don't put too much thing on yourself. Just take your time.
How lovely was that? That was local artist Kathy Davis there talking to us about her feelings when it comes to math. And I think it's really important, like you say, everybody's got these thoughts and feelings when it comes to maths. And some of them you can harbour from a long time ago from school, and they go right the way through to your adult life. But you've got to remember the support is out there. So talking about the support out there and available, we're going to talk more now about Connect Communities, and I'll be speaking with Tracy Waters. So Connect Communities are a CIC based here in Cornwall, offering various support and signposting to those in need, helping people achieve their personal goals to create a positive, lasting change. And like I say, with us today to tell us more about Connect Communities is the lovely Tracy Waters. Can you hear me, Tracy? Stand by, we're going to get Tracy. Here we go, I can see her.
Oh, hello, Henry.
Oh, I can hear you as well.
For a minute.
I've got you. Can you hear me?
No, I've lost you again, I'm afraid.
Nearly. This is the beauty of Teams here, folks. And live television. We can see Tracy. She's an enigma at the moment. Lovely background. While we try and get Tracy sorted out and on the line, we're going to have a look at another one of our videos now. This time we spoke to a member of the Chaos Digital team here, and it was the lovely Pudge to talk to how he feels about maths.
So my name is Adam Trudgeon, and I'm the web developer and IT administrator here at Chaos Digital. It never really leaves me. Being in IT, you do math every day, and especially with web development, all you ever seem to be doing is just algebra, and then to a large extent, people always seem to look at code like it's a magical mystery of you never know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, most coding languages, if not all of them, are just algebra and algebra again with a few little if this, do that. So every single day it's math, and it can give you a bit of a headache, but at the same time, I love it. I absolutely love problem solving, and if you're in this industry, you kind of have to enjoy it. I think when I was in school, I did enjoy learning math, but it didn't seem to have any. I didn't have any idea of how it would be used real world. It was just, here is some example math with no context on a board. Please work it out. Which, okay, I like problem solving, so I love doing it. If I could have seen like the kind of things that I see now in coding, which it's very, very close to, I would have been far more interested, even though I was already interested. And I think a lot of people would then see the real world applications that you get with math. And obviously it's not just coding, but for someone going into IT, there's so many easy examples you could use with the way that people are already learning. Just change it slightly and you've got real world context. Obviously, coding is what I do. I do websites, a lot of coding, both at home, at work. And I suppose another way is I look after my mum, who's got a lot of things going on, bless her. I do a medication. Trying to read some of the sheets that you get from hospitals and the medications, it gets a little bit confusing because she could be on 2 tablets of a type, and it says once a day in the morning, but you've got to have like it's 150 milligrams each, but you've got to have 300 milligrams. You're like, hang on, are you taking both of them? And you've got to work. There's lots of little things like that, and it's genuinely caused some confusion for carers and hospital workers as well. And I've sat there and helped them work it out. So yeah, there's some genuine, like real serious situations which you know some math, and it can get you through quite quickly. Everyone learns very differently, and a lot of people can find it very difficult to get to grips. I would say look for alternate methods of learning. If you're not being given a way to learn things in your way, find a way of learning. Some people learn by doing. So actually having physical things in front of you to count with, or being able to read it off a board, or being talked to about it, or watching a video on it. Find the way that best gets to your brain and lets you be interested, but also helps you retain that knowledge.
Lovely. That there was Pudge as part of the Chaos Digital team and telling us about his story when it comes to math and its real day, everyday, practical uses in life. We're going to try again now to speak to the lovely Tracy as part of Connect Communities via the airwaves and the beauty of digital media. Tracy, do you read me? Do you copy? Now, I understand, Tracy, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Yeah, we will indeed keep trying with Tracy. God bless her being on the other end of the line there, and we'll speak to her more about Connect. For the time being, I have got a lovely in-person guest, and I can see him physically here in front of me, going to talk to me now. It's the lovely Tom Smith. How are you? All well?
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Really good to be here today. So we've heard a lot today about the benefits of improving your numeracy skills and how the Multiply program can help. And if you're wondering what signing up might look like, how flexible the learning can be, who's eligible, you're here today to answer these questions for us, aren't you?
Yes, 100%.
So you're part of the Cornwall College group.
Yep.
And you deliver Multiply as part of that role.
That is my job. My job is essentially I'm a project outreach officer. So my whole job is to go into the community, speak to learners, speak to companies, and try and get them involved. It's just sort of help them upskill their math skills. It's been very beneficial in the workplace. With bigger companies, they found that they're using less waste on certain materials and stuff like that, which is all very beneficial.
And it's all these things, like you say, the saving on things there like that. You wouldn't necessarily think that at first hand, would you? But especially when it comes to math and things like that, you wonder how that can be applied.
No, yeah, 100%. You don't necessarily think it initially, but when you look at it and you're looking at the ratios and maybe mixing some paint and stuff like that, you really when you're using the right ratios, you really do save on your materials.
Those monies. So one of my first questions was going to be, what does a project outreach officer do? So talk me through the process when you go to these places.
So my main job is to obviously go and speak to the community. So I do a lot of work with some of the local charities, community charities. So I'll go out there, I'll speak to the individuals that are running their educational programs, and then I'll speak to the learners individually. Because what we like to do is we like to make everything very learner focused. So, I speak to them, what math skills do you need? What math skills do you need to help you in life? Because without them telling me what they need, I struggle.
Yeah.
And it makes it better for them. It's a better experience for them. They know what they're doing. They know what they want to learn. And we can help them with that. And
I think it's really important you say that you speak to the individual, and you've got to think of them as individuals.
100%.
Everybody's story or life experience when it comes to math is different in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely different. Like you said earlier, you have some people that really hate maths and don't even want to think about doing maths. But we try to give them a bit more confidence in those number skills and make it less scary. Because, we don't want to start further back than we originally were.
And I think, like you say, you touched on there that it does affect everybody, and no matter what role you're in, where you're to in life in general, there is math involved in most everyday things.
Every day there is maths involved. You look from driving to work, you've got the maths, your car works out the maths for you nowadays. But, the miles that you're using for the fuel and everything like that, that's all maths. How much is it going to cost you to get to work? That's maths. All those little things in between.
And like you say, it's those life skills, I think, where it gets really important when you get to finance and budgeting and things like that we all need to learn more of. And I think everybody got a bit comfortable having a calculator in their pocket. I remember the math teacher would always say, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life. And now we do. We've got a bit lazy with our maths.
Yeah, I think that's definitely right. And, you can't always guarantee that your phone's going to work, when you're in those situations.
Yeah.
So being able to have those skills already is very useful. And, I do maths in my head every day without even thinking about it. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah. And like you say, it's until you think of it, you go, yeah, that was maths. I was just doing maths, stuff like that. So who's eligible for the Multiply programme then?
So it's anyone over the age of 19 who lives in Cornwall is what we base ourselves off. The funding rules have changed recently to say that actually they don't have to have a GCSE already. They can be anyone. So we work with parents, we work with community groups, we work with businesses. It's just sort of anyone and everyone in Cornwall who wants to get involved, who might need some help with their math skills. That's who we focus our attention to.
I think, like you say, everybody and anybody can be affected by this. And what's really important is breaking down those stigmas to start with, breaking down those myths that have sort of shrouded maths, from a lot of people from school and things like this. And like you say, it's very different nowadays. What are some of the real benefits when it comes to the Multiply programme?
Well, I think the benefits are you get out of it what you want to get out of it. We can tailor our sessions to how you need them to be. We can do online sessions if that's easier for you. A big part of what we do as well as parents.
Yep.
So we help parents understand the maths that their children are learning in school, so then they are able to help their own kids with their own maths. And that's actually been really effective, to be honest with you. Sort of from session 1, they're able to help their children because they're understanding the maths that they're doing.
This is it. This is what's important when you think about the parents, is that they were at school maybe 20, 30 years ago. A lot of the maths may have changed, or at least the processes of doing the equations, things like this, would have changed since their time at school. So, of course, there's going to need some sort of refresher into it again.
Yes, 100%, and the maths changes over time. You're learning different ways of doing things, and everyone has a different way of learning. So we like to try and give everyone a few different ways of learning a certain skill, because teachers in schools teach it differently on whichever school they're in. And everyone has a different method of learning and all the rest of it.
And that you say method there, I think that's the word I was looking for, where everybody has picked up different methods along the way or learned things differently. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. It's just that there are other ways of, reaching the same goal and things like this as well.
Yes, definitely. There's hundreds of ways to do everything, and we'll break it down to what's best for you, what's best for the learner.
And I want to say about going into the employment side of things, how useful it is for everyday skills when it comes to a job. Those simple levels of math can be, in the sense of, you've got your daily banking, or if you're working with money, physical money especially, and things like this, it's really important just to be a bit clued up on that side of things.
Yeah, it definitely is. My job is outreaching to people, but I've got to keep track of all my numbers as well. I've got to know how many people I've got on a course, what percentage of them want to do something else afterwards, and all the rest of it. There's hundreds of different math skills that I use every day, and I'm sure everyone uses every day without even realise they do.
And it's those transferable skills as well, isn't it? 100%. It's like you say, timekeeping, management, the finance side of it. They're not just in-work skills either. They're life skills a lot of the time as well. And I think cluing yourselves up on things like that can really help you in everyday life without even realising it.
Yes, definitely.
Tell me more about the other programmes that you've got running then.
We've got essentially 5 different areas that we are able to target, and one of those is confidence. The other one of those is parents. The other one of those is businesses. One of those is employability skills. And the final one is an intensive and flexive course, so which is for people that might be looking to get a qualification at the end of it. That's something that we can look at. We can put them on that intensive and flexible course to give them the skills, and then if they need it, we can further progress them onto a functional skills level 2, or even a GCSE if that's the route they want to go down. But obviously, a functional skills level 2 is equivalent to a GCSE pass. Some people don't always recognise that, which I think is probably a point that definitely should be made.
I think it's really interesting there. It's quite tailor-made to suit the individual, and this is a real focus for it. And again, like you say, that's the way you've got to go into it, I think, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely, it works so much better because, maths is a difficult thing to get people to engage into. But once they understand they're going to be learning the way they want to, the skills they want to, it's so much more easier, so much more approachable, it's so much more accessible. And obviously living in Cornwall, not everyone can get everywhere, and definitely being able to deliver stuff online makes a massive difference to us.
That accessibility, it's sort of like meeting somebody in the middle, isn't it, that way? You're sort of approaching and meeting them, like I say, in a place they're comfortable with as well, because like I say, maths isn't an always comfortable topic for a lot of people, so I think it's brilliant, and like you say, the work there is being done on the human level. It definitely makes a difference, huge difference. So I want to know about, obviously we can't go through them all because there's probably an endless amount, but what are some of the skills that people will sort of obtain on one of these programs?
So I think the most common one at the minute is sort of the parent side of things. So what are my children learning in school? I want to know these skills so I can help my children with their own homework, with their own maths, to help them get through their GCSEs and all the rest of it. Because obviously, in the grand scheme of things, that's not too far away now, all those GCSEs. So that's probably the biggest thing that we're doing at the minute and pushing at the minute. But obviously, everyone wants to learn different things. Everyone wants different knowledge and all the rest of it.
And I think what's really important about that as well there is that there isn't another resource out there like that. You can't type into Google, how do I help my kids with this math homework, other than typing in the math problem itself, there isn't anything like that to refresh people when it comes to maths.
No, there's not. And, the fact that it's free,
Mm-hmm.
it's free to people, makes it so much easier, so much more accessible. Everyone can get those skills if they want to.
Yeah, this is it. How can people get in touch with yourself, get in touch with the college, find out all this information? Where's that too?
The best way to get in touch with me would be on our Cornwall College website. We have a Multiply page, and that is definitely the best way to get in touch with myself, because all those inquiries come straight to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to sit down, have a conversation with people. What skills you want, what skills you need. Okay, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And make it easy.
And make a way forward. I'll ask you now, I'll put you on the spot. What are some of those sort of the most common inquiries you get coming in, or people asking about Multiply?
Oh, that's an interesting question, really, because it's all very varied. Because we are targeting everyone in Cornwall. Everyone in Cornwall is available to them.
Yeah.
So everyone has different needs, different wants. So it's hard to pinpoint one, but I would say a lot of the inquiries have been online courses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, over Teams, all the rest of it, just because they struggle to get to a campus.
Yeah.
So that is probably definitely our biggest.
And I think it just shows willing there, doesn't it? Just reaching out to yourself, asking these questions, it shows that there's, a want there, a desire to sort of upskill, and that's where it starts, because then from then on, you may be able to find yourself going somewhere, on location and things like this, but it's starting point, and I think that's what's really important, is it's that first step.
Yeah, it's definitely, once you've taken that first step, everything becomes a bit easier, and we'll help you through it the whole way. If you are feeling nervous about maths, we will help you with your confidence initially, and then we'll just build things up and build things up and build things up until you're in a place where you're comfortable.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's such a difference maker, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean. Like, I think people don't realise quite how much you need these skills, and especially going forward in life, how worthwhile it is brushing up on them. At any stage of your life or career, it's worth just sort of upskilling yourself on those.
Yes, definitely. I've got some learners who are in their 70s who they just want to learn those extra skills. Again, it might be to help their grandchildren. It might be for any other reason. To be out in the community doing stuff with other people.
Brilliant. I think, like I say, it's a real difference maker. I like that. I'm going to coin that one now, difference maker. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been lovely to have you here with me. And like I say, do head over to the Cornwall College page if you want to know more about the Multiply project. We've got a lovely short video now, actually, very on topic, talking about how math can help with your career progression.
Hi, I'm Bryna, and I am a social media manager and radio presenter. So I've had quite a journey with maths, so to say. When I was in primary school, I got no help with it, essentially. And there's one moment that really sticks out to me. We were in year 6 and we were practicing for our SATs. And we did all the tests, and then our teacher marked them. And before she gave them back, she said, she explained to the class what the word abysmal meant. And that was written on one person's test. It came round and they all came back. And I was the person that had the word abysmal written on their test, because I got the lowest grade in the class. And I sat there and I cried about it, and the teacher didn't care. And ever since then, I thought, what's the point with maths if I'm not good at it? Luckily, as I went into secondary school, I had teachers that were a lot more supportive, and they actually helped me with it. I ended up getting a B in GCSE maths, which I was incredibly proud of, coming from that journey and being told that I was never going to be good at it and I was abysmal. Pretty much. It was quite a journey for me, I think. I think maths would be a lot more enjoyable to learn if there was more real-world examples. You see a lot of people say, why do we learn algebra? We don't use this in real life. Or why do we learn fractions? You don't use this in real life. But if you take it out of the classroom and bring it into the real world, I think it's easier to understand. For one, because you're relating it to real life scenarios, and I just think it'd be more enjoyable, as a whole. As a social media manager and radio presenter, I use maths all the time for my job. With social media, I'm looking at analytics, like daily, weekly. I'm looking at have things gone up, looking at percentages of things, and how I can improve based on those numbers. And then with radio, you have to use maths to to figure out how long you've got to talk in the show in an hour, because it's all obviously timed. So say, oh, I'm going to talk for 2 minutes here, that leaves me 5 minutes after these 2 songs, and working out like exact timings. And then even in my everyday life, you use maths even when you don't realise it, from timings to being in the shop and working out if you've got enough money. Like it's all around. Absolutely do it. There's no stigma and there's no shame of trying to learn once you have left formal education. If it can better you in any way, if it can help you even understand the world around you a bit better, because it can be anything from budgeting and going shopping to even helping your kids with homework. That's something I always I thought about when I was younger. I was like, how am I going to help my kids with homework if I can't do it myself? Which is something I still worry about now. But yeah, I just say just go for it. There's absolutely no shame in wanting to upskill yourself and better your skills.
Lovely stuff. That was the lovely Bryna there talking about her lived experience when it comes to math. Now I'm going to try again to speak to the lovely Tracy as part of Connect Communities now, and she's going to tell us more about the support that's available as part of Connect. Tracy, can you hear me?
I can.
I can hear you. How are you?
Fantastic.
Are you well?
I'm good, thank you.
Lovely to hear you. Lovely to see you and hear you, I will say. Thank you for being so patient with us this morning, or this afternoon even.
That's fine. It's a long way to Penzance, isn't it? The Wi-Fi signal doesn't reach all the way here.
Exactly. Some good old Cornish Wi-Fi. That's what we like. Tracy, now you're the Business Operations Manager at Connect. I've got to ask, what does a Business Operations Manager get up to start with?
So really managing all the contracts that Connect has got and making sure that all the teams have got all the resource they need to work effectively.
So I've had a bit of a lovely browse through the Connect website, looking lovely, I may add. But tell us about the great work that's being done down there, because there's lots of things happening as part of Connect, isn't there?
Yes, so we've got a number of contracts. So basically we work in 4 kind of ways. We provide person-centred mentoring and support. We do some criminal justice work, help people coming out of prison, or those who've experienced difficulties as a result of their circumstances. We do some training and workshops, and we do volunteering and peer mentoring. So we've got a wide remit of projects that we work across those areas in.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a real sort of broad stretch when it comes to projects and support there, doesn't it? Did it all start? How did it all start, I will say?
So we're actually exactly 10 years old today. It's our anniversary today. And we were set up by 2 ex-policemen who had seen the impact of people being in prison and coming out. And they had a desire to change rehabilitation services and make them more person-centred. So they set up Connect as a small community interest company, and they slowly brought other people on board, ex-probation officers, social workers, and people with mentoring skills, to work in that kind of person-centred way.
I think it's fabulous, and as I spoke to Tom earlier here, we were talking about supporting people on a real human level as individuals, and I think you've touched on that brilliantly there, where it is that real people-centric, especially when it comes to providing support, because it can sometimes feel like there's a bit of a taboo when raising one's hand to ask for any help and things like this.
Yeah, and I think the clients we see have been disadvantaged in, multiple ways. So, for the majority of people, they don't go to prison for no reason. They go to prison because they've experienced some kind of disadvantage, and then they come out and they're even more disadvantaged. So we kind of try and develop a relationship with those people, a really strong relationship, so that we can help them and walk alongside them as they make positive changes in their lives.
I think that's amazing. So I want to know more, Tracy, about the actual type of support available. What support is available at Connect?
So one-to-one support. So we have mentors who go out and meet people one-to-one, and they'll cover a whole range of subjects. So a lot of the people that we work with come out of prison and they're homeless. So we'll try and advocate for them and find them housing. There'll be issues with substance misuse. There might be family breakdown. We might work with people who are in conflict. So we do some work with housing associations with tenants who are in conflict. We work with young people, mentoring. We deliver workshops, a whole range of workshops. And we also run a peer mentoring program. So people who have got that lived experience, we can train them up as volunteers, and then they can become peer mentors to support other people using their lived experience.
I think that's brilliant stuff there. And you mentioned the workshops. I've been looking forward to speaking to you about this. Tell me about some of the workshops that are available as part of Connect.
So we've got a wide range of workshops that we've been developing over the last few years. So just give you a few examples. We've got one called Dress to Impress, and that's all about how to make a good first impression. So we use experts who come in. So we have a hairdresser and we have a stylist who come in. And over 4 sessions, they take people through, you know, how to make a good first impression at interview, what clothes suit you, what colours suit you, you know, how to style your hair, all to make it, to give people that more chance of getting a job. And then we've got how to succeed at interview. So that's all about the interview skills that people will need, all about online interviews, because of course there's a lot of online interviews now, telephone interviews, just making people have the confidence so that they approach those interviews in a really positive way and increase their chances. Changing mindsets is another one. So that's all about thinking patterns and how people behave, you know, because we recognize that people sometimes get entrenched in these negative thinking patterns, and it's very difficult for them to change that. So through a training program, we take them through looking at where those thinking patterns come from and the tools and techniques to change those. And then, of course, we've got some courses that we've embedded maths into. So we've got at the moment a Money Matters course, which is all around surviving the cost of living. So, you know, how you budget properly, you know, how you can save money on food, how you can save money on utilities, what are essential and not essential bills to be paying, you know, how you can cut your expenditure, you know, and we really think that that's really important, because if you think about people who are already on a limited budget, with the cost of living crisis at the moment, they're even more exposed to debt.
Yeah, I think you've got it spot on there. And I think what's great is with those workshops, they all sound very reactionary as well. They all sound like they're a real reaction to a need that's out there within communities, within culture, within society. And I think that's what's so important there, is the signposting and support is available. I'm not sure there's much I'll be able to do with my hair before an interview, but I'll have to sign up for that one and keep an eye out on that one, Tracy. You touched there on the maths project there. And if I say to you now, Tracy, off the books, what do you think of when it comes to maths?
So maths is just everywhere, isn't it? I was listening to your other guests, and, you know, everything they say, it's just so important to have some math skills. You know, even if you go to the shops and you need to know you've got the right change, you know, calculating as you're going around with your shopping, have I got enough money in the bank to pay for this? You know, budgeting your household budget. I mean, I used to teach adults maths, so I know that people would come to me and they'd say, oh, I'm rubbish at maths. And then we'd start talking about, well, what do you do on a daily basis? And I'd say, yeah, but that's maths and that's maths and that's maths, and you're managing a household budget. And they would be amazed. A lot of it comes from the fear, is from experiences people have had at school, like I heard someone saying earlier. But the more we can make maths fun and engaging, the better chance we've got of getting people to love it and to reignite that love of learning.
I think you're absolutely spot on there, where it does sort of encroach into everyday life. It's not just at work and things like this, is it? It's not just part of a career or studying. We do use maths every day throughout our very regular lives, whether we know it or not sometimes.
Yeah, and I almost think it's acceptable to say I'm rubbish at maths, isn't it? You know, you wouldn't say I can't read or can't write so easily as you can say I'm rubbish at maths. And, you know, but when you actually drill down to it and you work with people, they're not rubbish at maths. They might not know how to calculate a percentage, but they know how to add up what, you know, and work out what money they've got in the bank. So everyone has got kind of, well, majority of people have got some level of math skill, and it's just building on that and building their confidence and their self-esteem around numbers.
I think that's it. Speaking with Tom earlier, and as you mentioned there's a real stigma when it comes to maths. A lot of people have got sort of previous trauma from school or an education of sorts, and they harbour it through. And once it's sort of locked in, no, I'm not good at math, no, I can't do math, my brain's not for math. It's almost that defeatist, isn't it? Where it's like, no, there is support out there and that is available. You just need to sort of follow these paths and sort of move forward.
Yeah, and there's some great stuff out there. You know, I went back to adult education about 10 years ago and redid my GCSE maths because I thought I'm teaching adults, so I just want to refresh my skills. And actually, you know, it's really exciting to be learning it again and relearning it, because we don't retain those things in our brain unless we're reusing them all the time. So, you know, people who've got maths GCSEs from 20, 30 years ago, it's a great opportunity to reskill yourself.
Yeah, there is a bit of, it's almost like muscle memory, isn't it, when it comes to maths? If you're not using it on a regular basis, it does sort of fade away a little bit. Tracy, you've spoken there about all the support available at Connect. I want to know, how can people find out more? How can they get in touch with yourselves? Where can they go for this information?
Yeah, so they can visit our website, which is Connect Communities, connect-communities.co.uk. They can find us on social media. So we're on Facebook and LinkedIn at Connect Communities. They can email us at admin@connect-communities.co.uk, or they can phone us on 01736 339 277.
That's brilliant. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really lovely to have you, finally speaking to you on the other end of things there. And is there anything else you'd like to add as part of Connect today?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. I'll let you go have a late lunch now. Thank you very much, Tracy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Lovely. That there, of course, was Tracy Waters, the Business Operations Manager as part of Connect. I'm joined now by a familiar face and a not so familiar face on the Chaos TV screen now, as we go into our Everyday Maths Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me, large studio audience, in welcoming the lovely Joe Allen and Adam Trudgeon to our screens now. Good morning or good afternoon, chaps.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it?
It is
Yes.
indeed, yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Love Maths with Multiply Day. That's
Yes.
what we're rebranding that one, okay?
That's
That's the one to get in the calendar for next year.
Yeah, we're celebrating that next year. Right?
Pudge, we've heard your thoughts and feelings when it comes to maths.
We've had that already, yeah.
That's but again, all real life, all very true to word there, isn't it?
Very much so. I mean, I literally right now, all I'm doing in there is I'm doing coding, which is just math. At the end of the day, it's just a lot of algebra on the screen. And for me, I enjoy it. It's not for everyone, but there's ways of learning for everyone. That's one of the things that I've been listening to when you've been having a chat there is one way of learning is not the next person's way of learning. You need to find your way of dealing with it. And
would you if you told little Pudge back in school you're going to be working with algebra every day, what would he have said? I would have first have said, well, there's a time I was little. I'm working. Ouch. But no, I could actually see that and believe it. I was just one of those people who got on with maths. And I don't know, it's my brain. It's the way my brain works. I like problem solving. I like doing algebra. I like doing math. It's not for everyone, but for me, it was perfect. It was good for you. And Joe, maths, what are we thinking?
See, I've always been all right in maths. I mean, I passed my GCSE in year 10, and then in year 11, you had you still did your GCSEs, but you could go on to get a higher grade. But because I'd already got my GCSE, I didn't apply myself and I didn't actually focus when I probably should have, because these are skills that you need. I was going to say, when it comes to photography and things like this, maths, what are we talking? What are we looking at here? Distances, lighting, who knows what else? You do, yeah, you use maths in photography quite a bit, actually, yeah. More than you realise? Definitely, definitely. And again, I think in any job you use maths more than you realise.
I'm going to be putting these math skills. I'm not going to say to the test because I'm not testing you today, chaps. All right, we're just going to have a look through ourselves together and do some simple sort of mental arithmetic and sort of. It's more about the process of math and the method of using it. Okay.
This is why I write code, so I don't have to do it.
No, well, you're going to be interested in this, Pudge. I won't tell you why. You'll see why.
Okay.
We've got a bit of a challenge for you now. This is the Everyday Maths Challenge. You guys have joined us. Here we go. So.
Okay.
I'm going to have a delicious item of food or drink.
Now I know
on
why
the
you're
screen.
interested.
Yeah, well, you know.
And what we're going to do, to start with, we're going to have a look at how much this might cost in the shop if you just buy it for what it is. You go to the shop, you're wanting something quick and easy. You're not thinking about your wallet. You're thinking, I'm hungry, I fancy a milkshake.
It's like you know me.
Okay.
How much are we paying at the shop for a milkshake? £4.50.
At least. And it goes more. It goes
£4.50
bigger and
for
bigger
a good
as well.
milkshake. You go to a restaurant and get a good milkshake,
Oh, yeah.
you're looking
I
upwards of
paid
£6.
£6 for a milkshake.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
How much do you reckon we can get it for at home? If we were to make them, I'm thinking batch buy, get your ice cream and your bits and pieces like that, what do you reckon we can do it for at home?
Always depends on how decadent you're going to go with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your ice cream's like, what, £2, £2.50, but you could probably make at least 10 maybe milkshakes out of that.
All depends on brands as well of things. Like, there's
And
so
I
many
don't
variables.
suggest eating 10 milkshakes, ladies and
No.
gentlemen.
Why not?
I don't warrant that. Not now. You may fancy it, but £1.45 you can make
Yeah, that
these
doesn't
at
surprise
home.
me.
So we're going to have a look at how we did it. Like I say, I think the trick here is that buying of sort of quantity. So we're going to have a look at the maths we used here. Here we go. So 900 millilitres vanilla ice cream, £2.50.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong for it. You can't go wrong. And that's 9 milkshakes out of that, with a 4-pinter of some semi-skimmed for £1.45. You're looking at £1.45 a milkshake. That's
Perfect. Can't go wrong.
it's all the difference there, isn't it? This is the
Fantastic,
thing.
yeah.
When you look at buying it out in a restaurant, out and about, yeah, it might be nice for a treat every now and then.
Of course.
But if you don't need it, look at this. Go get your ice cream, get your milk, and then you've got, like I say, 9 of them.
If that's the kind of thing that you have even just once a week, you're still saving quite a large amount by the end of the year.
This is it. So here we go. Look, total £8.70 divided by 6. You've got 6 milkshakes. Delicious,
Crazy.
nutritious.
Sometimes it's nicer at home as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose your ice cream. So we're
Yeah.
going to be having a look at the croissants now.
Oh.
Okay,
yes,
if
lovely.
you've
Love
not
a
had lunch yet, you're going to be wanting it after this. So we're looking at croissants. How much do you reckon a pack or a croissant? Here we go. Look, £1.10p.
And a lot more if you go to certain places.
You go
Oh,
to a
yeah.
delicious like artisan bakery, something like that. You're looking at £3 at times.
Easily, yeah.
Look at that.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me at
32p
all.
you can do at home. 32p. I'm a big fan myself. If you know the freezable ones, the
Exactly
ready cooked
that.
ones.
Because you might not be able, you might not know how to bake them. You might not be, you might have the energy for it. But just to quickly pop them in the oven, job
Yep.
done, saves you a load of
They're
time,
so
and
quick
they're fresh.
as well.
Here we go, and look, this is the mass we use. This is what we're talking about here. So let's have a look. There you go, pack of 10 croissants, £2.50. We've even factored in your electric there as well. And like I
Perfect.
said, you can even bake more than one, and that's what I fully endorse.
You
At
can even
least
do
2.
it by getting all the ingriousants for probably cheaper,
Exactly.
making the dough yourself, and then making a big batch, and it will work out cheaper overall anyway.
Sounds like you're going to be baking croissants for everybody
I don't
tomorrow
know.
for breakfast.
I don't
I'm
know
holding you
about
to
that.
that one.
No? Right, let's go for the burger. Let's go for the Big Mac. This is
now,
all.
now you're talking my language.
Other fast food chains are available, but here we go. £4.59 if you buy a Big Mac outright. You're going down to Mackie D's. £4.59. It's quite a whack, really,
And that's
isn't it?
just for the big
That's
Mac.
just
That's
not
not
the
the
Big
meal
Mac.
as well.
Here we go. You're making them at home. £1.34. It's all the difference between those two
I
prices.
can confirm I've done this myself.
You have?
I have done this
You have?
unsurprisingly.
Okay, this is perfect. I'll let you talk us through this one then, Pudge.
Oh, great. Put me on the
Yeah,
spot right now.
here we go.
Most expensive part is usually the meat part. And it depends, again, cut, grade, that kind of thing. The rest of it, it's usually pennies for the rest of it. You're looking at lettuce. You're looking at a small portion of one lettuce, which comes shredded. And the lettuce already is pennies itself. Again, tomato, you're not using an entire tomato even. The ingredients you get at the smallest levels, you could make multiple burgers out of, even at the cheapest point.
Nice pack of brioche buns.
Oh,
Yeah, but you
stop
get like
it.
6 in a pack, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
So
there you
then
go.
you use 2, and then the other 4 can just go on to
And you've got
other
another.
things.
Exactly.
Got a bit of bacon left over in the fridge. Use that as well.
Exactly.
There you go.
Leftover?
Yeah, no, good point. Very good point. Here we go. Does this math that you? Here we go. Look at this.
12
This
pack
is
of
exactly
buns,
like you
yeah.
said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's your 12-pack, your buns,
Yeah.
your beef burgers, or if you fancy supporting your local butcher, go get some minced beef.
I'm going to say,
Yeah.
go get some mince and just do it yourself.
Yeah, make it
Literally, all you
yourself.
need to do is just make some discs out of it. It doesn't take much.
I do know somebody that used to use Rice Krispies to bulk up their beef patties.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to
Oh.
taste it, but it bulks them up as well, so it makes it cheaper.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
another little top
That
trick
works
for you.
well.
There you go. Look at that. Divided by 10, you got yourselves a load of Big Macs.
Sorted.
Everybody, 10 people are
Ideal.
happy then.
And obviously, there's plenty of
Have a
like vegan
party.
alternatives available now. Like you can't just say, "Oh, there is plenty of other options as well." So everyone's included now.
Yeah, you can change this up however you see fit, can't you? I think that's the beauty of it there as well.
Yeah.
Right, iced lattes.
Oh, I love an iced
Ooh.
latte.
We like a bit of iced
Yes.
latte.
My other half was here now. She'd be watching.
Should be all over that. Well, would she be watching for £4.30 for an iced latte?
I want to
I
know
paid
it's
that
true.
the other day. Well, actually, I paid more the other day.
You paid more?
Yeah, and I didn't feel great for it.
No. How about if you paid £1.30 for it?
I would feel great.
That's more like it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
more
you'd be
like
getting
it.
the blender out at home now, aren't you? Yeah.
It's these syrups as well that go on top. Like the amount what you pay 20, 30, 40, 50p extra per pump, and you get a bottle of it.
60p per pump of
For,
syrup.
mad. You get a bottle for what? £1, £2, £3, £4, something like that.
Yeah,
At a guess.
It's all the
It
difference.
makes so much
I
difference.
did that before, and syrup probably lasted me about like 40 coffees.
40
Great.
coffees. There you
Yeah.
go. Like you say, you paid 60p for one shot otherwise.
Yeah,
It's mad.
exactly.
Isn't it bonkers? Let's have a look at the maths. Let's see how we figure this one out. Here we go. Look, there you go. Instant coffee, bit of milk.
110 cups.
It's
Look
crazy.
at that.
There you go. 110. Like you say, with leftovers as well. So it just goes to show it can be done.
Yeah.
It really can be done.
And I know a lot of the time what you're paying extra for is the privilege of not having to make it yourself and that kind of thing. But honestly, if you just think about these things beforehand, you don't have to put much energy in to actually do these things yourself. It just takes a little bit of setup sometimes, maybe one extra piece of equipment here, or just having a think about what a recipe is, and then you just do it yourself and save yourself a lot of money.
So, meal deal. We said lunch, we're all guilty. We're very guilty,
Very.
the three of us, of popping to the shop for a meal deal.
I feel called out.
Yeah, I'm hands up personally as well. So, like you say, you're looking at a sandwich, a drink, and a packet of crisps there. £4.20 for the entire meal deal.
Yeah.
I want you to try and work out how much you think you could do doing that at home.
Oh,
Break
mean,
it down.
really, yeah,
like
it
you say,
really
you're doing a sandwich, a drink, and a packet of crisps.
Pack of crisps. I mean,
packet of crisps. You buy a bulk, like a bulk bag. You're getting loads for
Get your multi-pack.
for like maybe a quid more.
I'll say in total maybe £1.50 to £2.
That's you're making your sandwich at home as well.
Making my
yeah.
sandwich at
Yeah.
home. Possibly less, depending. Yeah, there we go.
£2.48 doing
Not
it
far
yourself.
off.
And again, it goes to show that we'd probably go and spend that every day and feel really naughty about it. Spending that every day, I can live with myself.
Well, I mean, I've noticed my own habits here. Like you said, going to the shop, and I've had to go, oh, actually, this is adding up on my bank account. Yeah, you go doing math every day as you do.
Yep.
And I've had to really reel it back in. I've been getting the packed lunches back in, and it just makes such difference.
It's all, and yeah, like you say, the packed lunches there, like we've mentioned here, the multi-packs, that's the trick. I think look for the deals, look for the multi-packs, see
Yeah.
what's on offer that week. And it's also a nice way of trying something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
A
with
good
an
way of
open
trying.
mind.
And
Yeah.
also think about the time it takes us to go over to the shop and come back. If you're at home, you could use that time just to make your own packed lunch.
Yeah.
And it would save you loads of money.
And stay warm as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody's happy. Lovely. Look, here we go. This is it. We've done the meal deal. All's looking well there. Got your multi-packs, got your crisp. £14.90, and that's with plenty of leftovers throughout the week as well.
Do you like me some leftovers?
We like some leftovers.
We do.
They don't exist, do they?
No
Thank you,
comment.
chap. So, like I say, thoughts and feelings on maths there. I want to know, like I say, are you feeling sort of, after hearing this today, has it broken down some of those barriers?
I'm going to say yes.
It's like reminded me. Yeah.
That's it.
It's reminded me that I can go out and actually make my own stuff. Like I'm trying to be better and
Yeah.
make my own lunches and save money and so on. And obviously that's all a part of life. That's what people use maths every single day, obviously, in that kind of thing. People don't realise it. I'm trying to do the same. And now I want to go make myself some Big Macs.
Yeah, same here, actually.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm having for dinner.
Big Macs, milkshakes all
Valentine's
round.
Day homemade Big Macs.
Yes, I like the sound of it. But again, it's so worthwhile. It's not always about being what's quicker and easier. Yeah, we love that. That's all well and good. You can run to the shop quickly and get something.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking at the prices,
Yeah.
figuring it out, seeing what's on good, seeing
Yeah.
what's on offer there, and going forward with that.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Gents, thank you both very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having
It's
us.
nice. It's been a blast of the past. I like
It's
this.
lovely having you here again, Patch, and it's always lovely to have you on to talk about maths as
Oh,
well.
I don't like being this side of the camera.
I know.
I'll admit.
I know. I'm not sure we'll get used to that either, but either way, thank you both very much,
No problem.
nonetheless. We've got a very short video now, which will be having a look at how to progress your career when it comes to maths.
I can remember vividly saying to my parents that I will never use maths. Oh, how I was wrong. I started in hospitality about 9 years ago. I started as just a bartender, moved up to head bartender, and then eventually up to bar manager. I'm responsible for stocktake, creating the rotas, all back of house.
I'm Adam Handling, the chef and owner of the AH Restaurant Group. The one thing that I really liked when I first met Connor was his hunger, and his constant love for learning was something that made him get the position he's got now.
The dream was to go off to college and study photography, and then hopefully onto university after that. However, I finished school without my maths GCSE, which threw a bit of a spanner in the works. From the moment I wake up, I'm using maths. I have to remember who's in at what time. Every one of our drinks, we use a spec. Each spec is broken down into millilitres. These are very, very simple things that we consider. But if you don't have an understanding of maths, they can be very difficult to understand. If I hadn't gone back and done that course in maths and come out of it with a better understanding, I would not be able to do my job today.
Maths is more important because this is a business. Connor is a manager, so therefore he has to deal with finance quite a lot. And if it's not quite right, it could really fracture the balance of how a business operates. So maths is probably the most important skill to have.
I would say that maths is a key skill. There is so much that I depend on for my knowledge of maths when it comes to this job. If I intend to go any higher in this position, I will need to use that. I hope to continue with this company. Working with Adam, working with a fantastic team here, has really shown me that I could go anywhere with this.
Thank you there to Skills for Life for that lovely video about how math can help with your career progression. And everything we've spoken about today, like I say, from signposting and support, as well as upskilling in maths, you can find more details at the lovely Multiply website on the Seetec page. Do be sure to take a look at that one. You can also sign up there, find all the information that you may possibly need as part of the Multiply program. Here we go. Like I say, head to the Seetec Multiply page, see what they've got going on. And even if it's not putting yourself signing up on the course there and then, reach out for some information. If you've got any questions at all, get in touch with them. It all starts with that first step and reaching out and starting your journey to upskilling your math skills. Thank you to all of today's guests. Like I say, it's been great to hear more about the support available. We've heard here today as part of numeracy skills, and that they're an essential part of everyday life, but also provide a great chance for better job opportunities and further education. Don't let math get you stressed out or anxious. If you'd like to improve your numeracy skills, consider the Multiply program. And like I say, for more information or to sign up, get in touch with Seetec Plus, Cornwall College, or even us here at Chaos. So from myself, as part of Chaos Digital, Henry Roosevelt, it's goodbye. And indeed, from the Chaos Digital team, it's a big goodbye here today. Give us a lovely wave. Look at that. Aren't they all gorgeous? Thank you very much for everybody that's tuned in. Thank you to all of our lovely guests. And that's it here for today. And until next time, bye-bye.